Welcome back, guys. Slowbaker here, and welcome back to another Total War Warhammer battle replay. Today we've got myself as the lovely Darwy up against the Beastmen. This is a match that heavily favours Beastmen, but a lot of that power comes down to the chariots, which my opponent didn't bring, so see what happens. This was a very hard out match. It really taxed me, this one. Alright, let's go through my army anyway. Right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Dwarf Warriors. We've got 2 units of Miners. 2 units of miners here, and 1 unit of miners with blasting charges. My 2 units of Iron Drakes. We've got 2 units of Slayers, including the Regiment of Renown Slayers. We've got the Goblob of Regiment of Renown, of course, and a cannon, led, of course, by the lovely Grommadale, the White Dwarf. And we've got 2 Runesmiths with just Wrath and Ruin on them. And let's go over my opponent's army really quickly. He's brought the Sons of Goros, I'm going to say, the Regiment of Renown, Centaurs, the Great Weapons. 2 units of Harpies to deal with, obviously, Gyros, if I did bring them, but I did not. He's got the Butchers of Kaliningrad, which is, of course, the Regiment of Renown Miners. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Razor Gore Herd. Very nice and very mobile army this guy's got. He's got the Regiment of Renown Ungor Spearherd. He's got 1, 2, 3 units of Beast Gore Herd. And he's got lovely Morgor Shadowgave as his leader, right? So basically, when we started off, I wanted to fight here. So the Beastmen were basically stuck in that swampy area, right? But he's actually done a really nice tactic. He's taken all of his mobile stuff and flicked them around this flank. And then he's taken all his infantry, which is a very heavy infantry force that he's got, and wrapped them around this flank. This infantry alone will actually rip through everything I've got. I've got nothing that can really deal with this infantry. I've only got the miners as armor-piercing infantry, and just basically Dwarf Warriors, just trying to hold that line. But you can see, you know, I've split my forces as best I can. I've got the 2 Slayers coming out this way to protect us against all this large stuff. Of course, I can't see the stuff as the map's going on. And I've got my 2 units of Iron Drake with the Trollhammer Torpedoes, again, to just pump out as much damage on these guys as we can. I've got my 2 artillery pieces firing this way as well. As you can see, those cannons are actually starting to pick up a nice amount of kills, which is really good. Smash them. Smash them. Got him. Got him. I like it. I like it. Yeah, but I like this tactic from this guy. He really texted out my micro ability, which, you know, to be honest, is not amazing, but he really texted out with splitting off his forces like this. You know, this contingent could kill basically my army, and so can this one if we allow it to happen, right? Now, I didn't see where these Razor Gore Herd went, so you'll see in a minute I actually pull the miners over here as well, because we need something else to bolster this line, because 2 units of Slayers is not enough to stop all this stuff that's coming in. Oh, look at the shots we're getting off on these guys with that bloody cannon. That's glorious. Can we get down these slow? That's absolutely glorious. Can we get another shot over here? Oh, I don't think we do. I don't think we do. Oh, these guys are so cool looking. That's so cool. They're so cool. Alright, and here comes the Razor Gore Herd. Oh, don't fall through the world. I believe we get some lovely shots on these boys too. Here comes a big cannon. No, we're still shooting at them in the forest. That's a bad idea. That is a bad idea. So we've spent, you know, the first 2 or 3 minutes of the match just like repositioning and getting into the right place and all that type of stuff. Right, and here comes the Gore Herd. Right, and as you can see, I've seen that now, right? So I'm like, shit, those Slayers aren't going to survive there. So I've pulled these miners to reinforce this line. I've also moved this one that was here. I've moved that one up. Look at this charge coming in from these Razor Gore. Razor Gore are a very, very good unit. Not actually a unit you want to send in by themselves, though. You really should have been supporting at the same time with the Harpies and probably the Cav and all that, the Minotaurs and all that type of stuff as well. You'll see why in a second with these Trollhammer Torpedoes. See how much damage they do against these, right? Incoming. Can we do slow-mo on that? Because that'll be awesome. Oh, yeah, these piggies are so cool. Alright, but here comes the Trollhammers. Oh, look at that shot. Those torpedoes coming. This is coming straight at us. Watch out, boys. Alright. Let's just look at those health bars. Right, wait for it. Wait for it. Look how chunky that is. Look how chunky that is. My god, these things do so much damage. And of course, running straight into a unit of Slayers is not the best use of Razor Gore Herd as well. This unit's running straight into this unit of Slayers as well. They actually do really well against that unit of Slayers, I have to say. They do really, really well against that unit of Slayers. To see how much damage those Trollhammer Torpedoes do. And of course, running straight into this unit of Slayers is not a good idea. Push those miners into support. We've seen those Harpies incoming, right? So we've moved the miners over to try and protect these, because that's going to be his #1 target. He's moving his cavalry in. I believe his cavalry just swings around here and goes straight for that. And also the Regiment Renowned Minotaurs are starting to charge in here as well. You've routed that off already. Like I said, Gore Herd, you don't want to send them in alone. You need to support them with something. They're a very good unit when they're supported. Individually, not so much. But when they are supported, definitely good. Unit of Wrath and Ruin down on these Centaurs. Not the best use of Wrath and Ruin, as you can see in the tooltip. They're strong against 50 men. There's not 50 men in that unit. It's 45, so not the best use of it. Right, the infantry lines are starting to hit. Like I said, this is a very good infantry line. My infantry line will not hold against this. Counter-charging with Dwarfs. Pro moves, Sly. Pro moves. No, you shouldn't counter-charge with Dwarfs. There's no point. Right. Another unit of Wrath and Ruin going down. There we are. Going down, I believe it's on that unit of Beastigor over there. And Grommy, of course, chucking in there. He's going to do a lot of damage. As you can see, we've managed to scare away those Harpies and also those Beastigor herds. We've caught the Regiment Renowned Minotaurs over here as well, and we're going to open up on those in a second with these Troll Hammers. Here they come. Look how much damage they do. They just do so much damage. That's both the units of Troll Hammers. But that's just an insane amount of damage. Plus, of course, we've got Slayers in there, offering that anti-large damage as well. But yeah, they just do crazy amounts of damage. As you see, there's just stuff going on all over the place. It's just absolutely crazy. Like I say, my micro is really taxed out on this matchup. Well played to my opponent too. He played very, very well. Alright, so because the Slayers kind of scared those away, we're pushing this unit up in here to try and get rid of this cavalry unit because, you know, as you can see, my front line is kind of disintegrating a wee bit. But we've pushed these Slayers in to try and get rid of these. We've got a flash bomb on there just to try and reduce the amount of effectiveness of these guys and try and chunk down Morgor if we can. Harpy's coming back in. Again, we're just hitting them with the Troll Hammers and some blasting charges and all that type of good stuff at the moment. Right, he's starting to regroup his units out here. He's got these. He's got those over there. These guys are going to come back as well. I've turned my cannon, which he didn't actually destroy, which is maybe a mistake. He should have probably destroyed it with those rather than charging into that line. So I've turned my cannon to fight over this way. Cannon and the Grudge Thrower is also throwing over that way, trying to break that line. As you can see, he's pushed through this front line with the Beastigor herd. As I said, my front line was just not going to hold up against that. And here come the Chaos Spawn. There's one in over here. We've got Grombadel and unit of Dragonback Slayers in over there, trying to get rid of that. And these guys just trying to chunk them down. I'm trying to pull out my Iron Drakes here because we know that's where basically all our damage is coming from, especially against all these heavily armoured troops, right? These Beastigor herd, etc. My miners, etc., and that type of thing, are not going to actually kill those off with any type of speed, right? Right, Slayers are coming back in. We've pulled those out of this main engagement that was going on here. We've got the cannon, sorry, shooting into this Beastigor unit, which is actually returning. This unit of Slayers, you know, it's going to take quite a bit of damage, and these guys are starting to rat off, as you can see. Grombadel's doing quite a lot of damage to Morgor in here. We've got that Runesmith supporting us as well, and a unit of Dwarf Warriors in there, although they're not going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage. But it's definitely Grombadel, the White Dwarf, in here against Morgor. Grombadel, of course, a very, very strong lord. The Slayers are going to jump in there and give us a hand as well. We've still got the unit of Chaos Spawn and the unit of Beastigor herds over here. We've managed to rout off these guys over this side. This cavalry's still going. I thought I actually killed that off, but no, I routed it and then it's come back. But I thought I actually killed it off. Running into that unit of Trollhammer torpedoes. Trollhammer torpedoes are pretty crappy as far as melee stats go. You know, considering the cost of the unit, they're $1,000. But considering the cost of the unit, they're a pretty crappy melee combatant, but whatever. And of course, we've seen this other unit of Regiment of Renown Spears coming down. I've pulled my Trollhammers out and pushed the Slayers in this way. Slayers will do alright against these because they don't have a massive amount of armor anyway, only 15. So not a massive amount. But the Trollhammers, yeah, pulled them out so they can get some shots in this way. They're actually still being harassed by some of those spearmen that have actually managed to push through that line, which is a bit unfortunate for me because I really wanted to shoot that down. Right, we managed to rout out Morgor. Let's give us a wider shot if I can see what's going on. I think I totally forgot about this unit over here. I should have probably brought that back in. But yeah, well played to my opponent because my micro was absolutely taxed that whole time. There's just so much stuff going on. Just all over the map. It was absolutely crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Let's have a look at our kill numbers. 28 and 7. Not a massive amount. But the amount of damage they did to especially these 5 units on the bottom here was absolutely crazy. And of course, there's not a lot of models in those, so we're not going to get a high kill count on there. Slayers did well, 61 and 55. But as you can see, my front line, my infantry force in general, right? You know, compared to his, we just can't stand up to that. But that's not kind of the point of this build. The point of this build is to protect these two, and because these are going to do all the damage for us, which they did in this matchup as well. Harpies did well. Harpies did well as well. 12 and 4. I would have liked to have seen them moved more in conjunction with these, right? like I said, the Beasts Who Got Herd are a very good unit, but they're what, 600 each, I believe. So that's 2,400 that he just basically ran straight into Slayers, which is never going to work. If he used the Harpies at the same time and jumped down on top of these guys, like just before these hit, that would have worked out probably totally different, I would have said. But he played really well. It's nice to see tactics like that where armies are split and it really taxes the micro of the other player. And like I said, my micro is not top tier or anything, but I was really stretched trying to keep up with everything that was going on. And of course, like once he punched through that front line, I don't want to say panic sector, but we kind of needed to move different forces around to different places and stuff. And of course, it's the judgment thing. If, I left these 4 in the front line to try and hold out those 4, which was never going to work, because I needed the miters and stuff to try and protect us from all these, because again, we've only got the 2 Slayers that were protecting our eastern flank, and I needed something else over there to try and, bolster that to make that survive for just a wee bit longer. And it's really... That's where I think you can kind of win with situations like that, is if your opponent underestimates or overestimates the strength of one of your flanks, and obviously it's bolstered up too much on one side, your other flank is just going to push through whatever he's got and then smash into the back on the other side, right? And I think that's where you can really take advantage of splitting your armies and attacking from both flanks at the same time. Luckily, I kind of judged it about right. It was pretty close. Probably should have left one of the units of miners over to help out the infantry, but I think I was pretty close to almost perfect splitting of my armies up and then to deal with exactly what he had. Ooh. Alright guys, that is today's multiplayer video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time.